What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Base Damage. Hope you're all doing well, and happy Valentine's Day. I wanted to post up a deck kind of showcasing something along the lines of love. And obviously, what better to show than some familial love that is the relationship between Zuko and Iroh. And it is very much very awesome character progression you get to see throughout the show. For this deck, we're going to be talking about an 8 standby build. I know people prefer the Azula top end with the Sokka. I'm working on a deck for that. I am cooking. We are in the kitchen working on that one because I know that is the preferred top end because you get off so many different packets of damage with it. But like I said, that is coming down the pipeline. We are going to be working on that, and maybe that might be out by the end of the month. We'll find out. But for this one, it was an 8 standby build focused on the Zuko for Honor combo and the Zuko and Aang Dancing Dragons. This is such a fun card that you just get to mess with your opponent's field so much. Let's just hop right into it. So we got 3 copies of Iroh, the Dragon of the West. I was initially running this at 2, but I wanted to bump it up to 3 just for a little bit of consistency. So it's a 3/2/8/5. All of your other Zuko and Aang Dancing Dragon, the level 3 we mentioned before, and the Zuko for Honor, which is our top end, get the following ability. When this card attacks, look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck. Choose 1 card amongst them, put it on the top of your deck, and put the rest into your waiting room. So you basically get to choose what you're going to be triggering with that, and that is very useful. Maybe you want to swing for exact amounts of damage, especially considering like the Zuko does get extra soul from his combo and everything. And obviously if you're able to get the combo going for the Zuko and Aang level 3 as well, going at level 2, be able to pop those off. Maybe you're able to go for a couple turns with that. It is very fun to be able to control your triggers. Maybe try to hit some more standbys. It's just really, really nice with those cards. All of your other World of Avatar characters get 1500 power, just a global 15. Really can't complain there. And a brainstorm of pay 1, tap 2, mill 4 cards from the top of your deck. For each climax revealed, you get to perform the following action, which is look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 card from amongst them, put it in your hand, and put the rest into your waiting room. Now, there's another reason this is in the deck, and that is you have to have it on field for the climax combo for the Zuko for Honor. You do have to have the Iroh on the field. It can just be in the backstage, center stage, doesn't matter. But he has a couple abilities. It's a 3/2/8/5. If all of your characters are World of Avatar, he gains 3k. So he's just a constant 11, and obviously if you have the Iroh on field as well, he'll be a 12/5 because of that global 15. On play from 2 stage from hand, you get to heal 1 card from the top of your clock to the waiting room. And when Siblings Agni Kai is placed on your climax area, if you have the Iroh, which the Siblings Agni Kai is the standby, it's an 8 standby deck. This gets +1 soul and the following ability until end of turn. Up to 1 time per turn, when damage dealt by this card is canceled, you may stand this card. So a little bit of a thing to talk about first, because I know on one of my other videos involving this combo and a different combo for the other half, there was a little bit of contention and a little bit of misunderstanding about what I meant by this, where I said, oh, you don't have to reverse with this effect. And this is true. The effect itself does not require you to reverse. If you ran this into something that said it could not be reversed by some effect, let's look at Overlord Ainz. You got the Ainz combo off, and he can't be reversed at all. It makes it so this Zuko, with the way its effect is worded, does not have to reverse. The person's like, oh, you have to win the battle, so obviously you have to reverse them. Technically, you're correct. So you either do have to be over them in power, or when damage dealt by this card is canceled, you can side with this. It just ends up, how this works out, the damage happens first, then battle occurs. For those who are just unaware, obviously the people who have been playing this game for years know that, but basically your damage will go through first, which causes him to stand. The effect will immediately go off if the damage gets canceled. He will stand, and then they will perform battle. So the reason this came up in contention was because the battle happens after he restands if he doesn't survive that battle, like if your opponent has played a backup, if your opponent has, or maybe they have some other effect that, buffs at that point, or just, once again, it just doesn't work out the way that you want it to, he can become reversed after the restand has occurred, and then you won't be able to get the second attack off. Typically, let's say you attack something that's way weaker, you're able to get the 2 attacks off, for free. It's really nice. But it is a thing of, if he does not have to reverse for the effect to go off. It just, you want him to be able to reverse so that he has the chance to. So just wanted to point out that it was not required in case you do attack something that says that it cannot be reversed. But we've lingered on this card long enough. Let's move on. It is a very cool card. The restand is basically for free. It is very cool. So then moving on to Zuko and Aang, the Dancing Dragon. It's a 3/2 10k. During your climax phase, when this card is placed on the stage by the effect of the standby colors of fire, you can pay 1, discard 1 card, and sack the colors of fire, the standby, to then be able to summon. You get to stand this level 3, and then you get to summon another copy of itself, the Zuko and Aang Dancing Dragon, from your waiting room to any position of your stage. Basically meaning you get to stand by in 2 level 3s just for the cost of 1 stock and 1 card from hand. So very, very low cost, and the second effect is really, really powerful. At the beginning of your attack phase, if this card is in your center stage, you may choose one of your opponent's level 1 or higher characters. If you do, your opponent chooses a level X or lower character in their waiting room and exchanges them with the character that you targeted. X is equal to the level of that character you chose -1. So if you chose a level 3, they have to swap it with a level 2. If you chose a level 2, they have to swap it with a level 1. People typically refer to this in Weiss as downgrading or leveling down your opponent's characters, because it is very, very disruptive and makes it so if your opponent has a really powerful combo on board. Obviously, once again, this does target, so if they have hexproof, it doesn't matter. Whatever. But this is very, very fun to be able to just screw your opponent over. They got a really nice board set up, and you're just nope, level that one down, level that one down. So it's just so crazy. Also, I realize I just said at level 3 to level 2, but if you pick a level 3, it has to be level 2 or lower. So they can grab level 1s or 0s. So just saying for that. So it's very disruptive and it's very fun. 2 copies of Toph and Aang Earthbending Lessons, a 2500 backup with an anti-change effect. When you use the backup, you can pay 1, pitch 1, and sack a character from your stage. If you do, you may put the top card of your opponent's clock into their waiting room and choose one of your opponent's characters with a level higher than your opponent's level and put it into their clock. A clock bomb anti-change is just really fun and it's really nice. This one I want to leave a little bit open-ended. I realize my head is kind of blocking that right there. But I put in, for the deck profile itself, I put in 2 copies of Zuko and Mai and 2 copies of Iroh buffed. We're going to go over each card, but this is very open-ended. The initial test build, because these are promos, the Zuko and Mai is a promo. I wasn't able to get my hands on immediately, but it has gone down in price. I'll probably end up picking these up. Initially, I was rocking 3 to 4 copies of the Iroh buffed, and he's still very good. I just wanted to leave it a little bit open-ended for someone building this deck if they wanted to do one or the other, if they wanted to do maybe a 2-2 split like this is right here, or if you want to change up the ratios how you want. They're both very good cards. Like I say, let's go over them real quick. It's just the fact I know this was a promo. I don't know how the price is going to fluctuate. If someone watches this, 5 months from now and is like, oh, but this promo is $10 or some BS, then just grab the Iroh. But Zuko and Mai in their own world, a 2/2 7k. This gets 2k power for each other World of Avatar character in your backstage. So 2 in the backstage would give a plus 4k, making it an 11k with 2 soul. Very nice. Also, The flavor text for this, "You're so beautiful when you hate the world." Now that's love right there. Can we get a like for the love that these two had for each other? Let's just be real. 2 copies of Iroh buffed is a 2/2/55 with 2 soul. If you have 2 or more other World of Avatar characters, this card gets plus 3k power, making it an 85, which does feel a little bit low on, for some like level 2 standby targets, but it doesn't matter. He gives a ton of buffs. And the following ability: when your character's trigger check reveals a card with a soul trigger icon, and there's a lot in this deck. Choose one of your World of Avatar characters, and that character gets 1500 power till end of turn. You can give it to himself. During your turn, all of your other World of Avatar characters get plus 1500 power. So if you do have 2 on the field, because they would be 85s each, they would bump themselves up to 10Ks before any triggers with soul triggers. You can give the buffs to themselves. You can definitely make up that difference. Even though it's just 85 to begin with, they get very buff. Once again, it's in the name for a reason. So, 1 copy of Zuko Redirecting Lightning, mostly because it's a 3k backup, just for a little bit extra buff there. When you use this card's backup, you put the bottom X cards of your opponent's deck into their waiting room. X is equal to the number of World of Avatar characters you have. I can't talk today for some reason. So if you have a full field, you can make a mill 5 from the bottom of their deck. Could disrupt a plan, could force a refresh, who knows. But just a neat little card. Also, the art for that's fucking cool. Getting to the level 1's Zuko Near the Campfire, 1/145. If you have another World of Avatar character, this gets 1500 power, making it a 6k constant. And the following abilities: it gets a character encore, which is very nice, but the other effect is why you want to try to use this as much as possible. When this card attacks, you can pay 1 stock. If you do, during that attack, perform a trigger check 2 times on the trigger step. So it falls in, 1, just being able to possibly trigger more standbys is very nice. And when this card's trigger check reveals a card with a crit trigger icon, this gets plus 1000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. Obviously, if you can even just trigger 1, crit trigger icon, that's 1 extra damage. 2 makes him a 7k defensively until the end of your opponent's next turn, while he still has character encore. It just still is very big. Could potentially become an 8k. Potentially trigger more standbys. Just really good card overall with the what people refer to as the twin drive effect. So then this is a really fun card. 3 copies of Iroh Order of the White Lotus. It's a 1/1, and it does have a soul trigger icon. It is a 4k, but if the character facing this card is cost 0 or lower, this cannot become reversed. So very reminiscent of the Nino. I know people had to deal with a lot with the Nino 8 standby. There's a level 1 blue that does the same thing. When your other World of Avatar character attacks, this gets 1000 power till end of turn. You're mainly trying to go and summon the Twin Drive one as much as possible, but if you see that your opponent is able to summon a lot of costless level 1s, this is just too fun not to pop out. It's just really good. Next, getting to the level 0s, we have 2 copies of Toph Wanted. Now, I know this is basically the most expensive double rare, and I only put in 2 copies because I was able to pick up 2 copies on TCG Player like a while back for like $4 a pop. So if you can find it for cheap, go for it. If not, we do have another Brainstormer in the deck that you could just run like 3 or 4 copies of, so it's up to you. But I did want to include this because it is a very good card. It's a 0015. Up to 1 time per turn when you use an act, look at the top card of your deck and put it on the top or the bottom of your deck. As a Brainstorm of pay 1, rest this card, mill 4. For each climax revealed, choose up to 1 character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. So, salvage back, very good. 3 copies of Iroh Tea Server. And, we talk about love for Valentine's Day. Iroh loves him some tea. Even more so, because you'll see a card coming up in a little bit here. We have... So he is a 002k. When this card is placed on stage from hand, choose one of your other World of Avatar characters, and he gets 1000 power and T until end of turn. See, he shares the T as well. When your climax is placed on your climax area, you can return this back to your hand. If you do, choose one of your characters, and that character gets +1 soul until end of turn. So a couple things here. Obviously, he's able to bounce back and give the buff repeatedly every single time that you play like standbys. You can bounce him back. Being able to give extra soul is kind of major for a standby deck, because your standbys don't actually give buffs. They don't give like a 1k1 or anything of that nature. So being able to distribute a little bit extra soul to try to push for some more damage is always very nice and does help most standby decks in that regard. But that's also why with standby decks you run cards like level 2s that have 2 soul and stuff like that. So just saying. Also, being able to give the extra buff and just keep going, being able to keep reusing it each turn is very nice. It also opens up a slot for you to be able to summon something with your standby. So, just throwing that out there. I feel this is a mandatory for the Zuko T server. When this is placed on stage from your hand, you can put one World of Avatar character from your hand to your waiting room, and if you do, draw 1 card. So just being able to discard your standby targets and then draw extra cards is just really nice. When damage dealt by this card is canceled, you can put this card into your stock. So extra stock production, just always good in case you have to hard cast something or just in general. 3 copies of Zuko and Iroh Forgiveness. So 0015. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 1, pitch 1. If you do, choose a World of Avatar character in your waiting room, return it to your hand, and then you get to pick one of your other World of Avatar characters, and it gets 1,000 power till end of turn. It has another when damage dealt by this is canceled effect, like the other Zuko was. When damage dealt by this is canceled, you can return this card to your hand, so you can potentially get off more drop salvage effects just repeatedly. It's really nice. 2 copies of My Betrayal. Once again, this is the other Brainstorm. We don't use it, the first effect, because we don't have the Azula. That's totally fine. So we just have it for the Brainstorm. Of pay 1, rest this, mill 4. For each climax, you get to search your deck for a World of Avatar character. So that way you have 1 Brainstormer that does searching and 1 that does salvaging. So very nice either way. And that is going to be it for the level 0s. Now for the spice, the tech that I feel is so fun. T Wisdom is a 3/2 red counter event. So a couple things. 1, you do have to have an Iroh on field in order to play this from hand. So if you don't have an Iroh, literally can't be played. But once again, your whole end combo is you're trying to summon this particular level 3 Iroh, so it's all good. And there are 3 different arts for this. I just like the first one because this is just too funny. This tea is nothing more than hot leaf juice. I just think that's funny. But there are like multiple arts for this card, so pick which one you want. The effect is put the top 5 cards of your deck into the waiting room and deal X damage to your opponent. X is equal to the total number of crit triggers in the trigger icons of those cards. So you could potentially burn your opponent on their turn and kill them on their turn, which is just too funny to me in general. I just really like that. 4 copies of Siblings Agni Kai and 4 copies of Colors of Fire. So that is going to be it for the deck. Like I said, I will probably end up posting like the Azula version or my take on the Azula version later on. But I've been having this one sit on the back burner for a while, and it's just so fun. Just lots of free damage, lots of just being able to like mess with your opponent in so many different ways. Everything from, oh, you have a cost 0 or lower, you can't reverse this. Or, oh, you have some kind of field setup that you want to keep. Too bad. These are going to make your characters downgrade, and it's just really funny. So, but yeah, with that, thank y'all for watching. It is greatly appreciated. Please give a like and a subscribe if you want. If not, hey, thanks for stopping by to check out the video. Icon words. And we will see y'all on the flip side. Peace out for now.